Everyone, it's Dr. Bernstein, and I want to welcome you to week 4 of our semester together. Now, when you first look at this checklist, I bet you're going to notice something that's missing, and that's reading material. Because I really want to use this week as a way for us to sort of digest all of the reading that we've done so far. You have done a fair bit of reading, and it's been intense. Early American literature is not easy to read. It's not hard in the sense that maybe Shakespeare can be hard the first time you read him, but there's a certain intensity and density to the writing that a number of you have pointed out makes it hard to get through. So it's not like when I think about 19th century British literature, I think of literature you can sort of curl up in bed with, like Charles Dickens or something like that. Not so much with early American literature because I always feel like I have to be sitting in a chair at a desk, drinking coffee, and being really hyper alert because it's so intense. One thing you might be experiencing is that you don't have to read these texts the way you would read them like a history textbook or something like that. You don't have to remember all of the facts. Remember that we're reading this nonfiction from a literary perspective. So we want to be looking at things related to language, maybe issues related also to selfhood and community and American identity. But you don't have to memorize everything or worry about knowing everything. But nevertheless, I believe that a crucial part of the learning process is not just reading the material, but also having time to reflect on it. And I find a lot of times that's not actually built into the courses that we teach as professors. So I like to do that. So this week, what you need to do is discussion post number 2 actually comes first, but I just came up with the idea for it. So that's why I didn't change the numbering of everything. And it's a pretty simple discussion post. You'll notice that I reorganized our discussion post page so that the official discussion posts are on top and the question forums are still down here. But discussion post number 2, which is due by basically midnight on Tuesday, requires you to write one paragraph and 3 questions. So in part 1, I want you to share with me your experience with the reading material we have already covered. Feel free to answer one or both of the following questions. What have you found most interesting about these works? What have you found most frustrating or challenging about these readings? Of course, you don't have to limit yourself to these issues. I just like to offer up some questions you might want to consider. And then in part 2, you can ask me up to 3 of your most pressing questions related to the literature and the course in general. Um, I This is the first time I'm teaching an American Lit class online, and I really love online teaching, but one of the advantages of teaching face to face is that in the classroom, I can look at you, and even if you don't say anything, I can tell that you're not getting something, or that you're struggling with something, or that you're really getting something, and I can sort of press you to take that knowledge to the next level. It's a little bit harder to do in an online class. So rather than just waiting for you to like maybe ask me a question in the Ask Dr. Bernstein forum, I want to build that into our course to give you the chance to ask you those questions that you know you have, but you might not have been maybe bold enough to ask yet. So that's what we're going to do for discussion post number 2. Discussion post number 1 you should have already looked at, so I'm not going to go over it with you. But I do want to actually, while we're here, show you something that's going to make, when you look at other people's posts, which is part of the process, I want to show you a way that will make it much easier for you to do that. So I'm going to go into the Ask Dr. Bernstein forum because there are already some posts here. Now, if you just look at it in this grid setting, it's just a listing of the posts that people have asked. I don't find it's really that easy to read this way. So if you go over to settings, right here, I'm circling it, go over to settings and click on under message list style over here, click on reading style, save it. The posts are going to come up this way. So you can sort of scroll through and see everyone's actual posts. So keep that in mind. In fact, if you haven't already done it, I would just go change your settings right after this video. Okay, back to the checklist. So that's due, that discussion post number 2 is due on Tuesday. On Thursday, giving you an extension, discussion post number 1 is due. And then on Friday, even though I say I'd like you to do it by Friday, but obviously, I know that you've got work and other things to do. So I'd like you to have the weekend off. That's a big goal of mine, is to actually have a day off. But I understand sometimes you just need the weekend. So you can submit by Sunday. And basically, what I want you to do is I want you to set aside some time to read at least 10 of the discussion number 2 posts and at least 10 of the discussion number 1 posts. And then I want you to offer a meaningful response to one of the discussion 2 posts and one of the discussion 1 posts. Basically, I think that you can really learn a lot through the eavesdropping of like looking at other people's posts and sometimes also my comments on them. And that's a pretty good way for us to start generating a stronger sense of community in our online class, and you get to learn a lot. So that is what you have to do for this week. Some writing, some reflecting, and I will be obviously responding to all of these posts. So that's it for now. I hope you have a great week, and I will be hearing from you soon. Bye.